Dream Machine is a unique and immersive video game set in a post-apocalyptic world. The game follows the journey of a father and son who, after surviving an apocalyptic event, are living in an underground bunker. The father, driven by love and the need to maintain their sanity, creates a machine that allows you to control your dreams. The son, who was very young when they entered the bunker, uses the machine to experience the world before the event. Through these dream adventures, the son learns the skills he will need to eventually leave the bunker. Unbeknownst to the son, the father sacrifices his sleep and health each night to operate and troubleshoot the machine, allowing his son to live a new adventure in his dreams. Eventually, the son has to venture out of the bunker and witness the horrible state of the world. Dream Machine is a game of survival, sacrifice, and discovery. It's a testament to the power of love and the human spirit's resilience. Join us as we bring this captivating story to life.
And there you have it, the new storyline video for our project Dream Machine, which we will be live streaming almost every single day until project completion. We're going to be streaming every part, every process of this entire project, from start to finish. As brutal as it may sound, we're going to be here to show you that anybody, I mean anybody, can make a video game, especially these days with all the advancements and AI and in visual scripting. Anybody can do it. So we're going to show you guys step by step all the way through how we usually do it here at IBG using Unity 3D. So last week we changed this. Last week we were working on the scene in Unity. We kind of finished some stuff up, but we were in the level scene. We were doing a lot of the UI stuff and the menu stuff, especially like the settings and whatnot. I think we've gotten to a point where we can shift gears, and I'm thinking we start working on our character controller. So that being said, I went ahead and pulled up this RPG Mechanism animation pack, which I'm a huge fan of. I've used this in a couple prototypes that I've worked on before. I'm definitely a fan. It's very complex. It has a lot of elements, so we're gonna have to scale back a lot of those, but it gives you a really good kind of like starting package to work with. There's also a lot of tutorials online, so I definitely recommend it. There is a free version. We have that as well, that you can use if you're just looking for something to get going. So I'm gonna go ahead and import this into the project. Also, if you use any kind of version control, I use GitHub. I got GitHub desktop open here. This would be a good time to make sure all your changes are pushed, and you could even potentially create a new branch, or just make sure that you have, you know, a nice save that you could revert to before you do this kind of stuff. And the reason being is because this particular pack and other packs like it are going to have some presets that you're going to have to load, that are going to change your tags, and that are going to change your project settings. So I definitely recommend doing it, just in case you know, something messes up, something breaks, and you decide you do not want to go with this type of pack. You have somewhere to go back to. Hopefully this finishes, you know, fairly soon. It is a rather large file. I mean, it's not too bad, but it does seem to be taking a little bit longer. This is probably something I could have done off camera, but like I said, I want you guys to see pretty much every step, you know, in this process. And so there's going to be a lot of stuff that are tedious, a lot of stuff that It's just really boring to watch, and I understand it. If you guys need to leave, come back, or skip through the channel, skip through the videos. You know, it's just part of the process. I totally get it. At some point, we may, you know, create highlight videos per episode, or maybe at the end of the month, just to kind of show the state of the game Dream Machine. And that way you guys can just, you know, glance at that. But if you really want to dive in on like how things are done, the type of folder structures we do, naming conventions, how to use Playmaker, how to use something like ChatGPT to create your scripting. If you want to learn how to do any of that stuff, or if you're just kind of new to making video games, you know, then I definitely recommend, you know, going through the live streams and at least skimming through and trying to figure out and try to follow along. And not exactly sure how much this pack is on the Unity Edit Store. I think I got it a while back, and I possibly got it with a Humble Bundle. I definitely recommend those if you can. It's a great way to save some money and get just a crap ton of Unity assets for pretty cheap. Pretty sure that's the way I got this one. If not, you know, I might have just bought it a long time ago. But it's definitely one that I recommend, especially, you know, if you're gonna have like a third person controller in a video game. This is a pretty good one to use, and it really doesn't take too long to get set up in the beginning, which is another thing I like. Also, it is almost perfectly created for the Cinti assets that we are planning on using. So yeah, it looks, see these images right here, it looks pretty low poly, not very exciting, but we can pretty much take our characters and just plop them over there and be just fine. So it does say, hey, before you use this, make sure to load the input and layers presets. So that's something we're going to go ahead and do. We're just going to go to project settings, and then we're going to go over to import manager. You can see up in this top right hand corner, you can go to select presets, and there's an input preset that comes with the package. So it's very simple. It creates everything for you, so it's much easier to do that. And then there is also another one, I think, on tags and layers. We can go ahead and set that one. And that's all you really need to do as far as the input and whatnot. So I think if we go into their demo scene, we can find it here. I think it's, yeah, under Explosive LLC. Might need to change that. Well, that's gonna be our first issue that we gotta solve, and that's because we're using URP. We just need to update our that's here. There we go. This is a test scene. I want to say there is a different one that I usually use. There we go. So if everything's working right, just right off the bat using their presets, we should be able to move this guy around pretty easily. We do have this pop-up here. I'm gonna go ahead and disable that. find it. I want to say we can just disable probably the entire canvas here. Looks like they have an actual GUI camera. Gotta figure out the way they got it set up here. You can see if I'm still in the game though, even though the camera is not ideal, you can see that we are moving around, we're jumping. So it is working. The way they have their camera. We have to troubleshoot it a little bit, but we're not going to be using this scene for everything. We're also not going to use the old input system. I would definitely prefer to use the newer input system. And so they have a pack here that you can just go ahead and extract and use here. I'm going to go ahead and import that. We get that warning again, and also you notice we have a bunch of errors, and that's just because I didn't actually install the new input system yet. We're gonna want to install that. Now, doing this, we are going to have to go back and fix some of our UI elements, pretty sure. But there might be an easy workaround for that. So it does have to restart Unity. And we're gonna have to do a couple other things to get this perfectly set up. Like I said, it's only gonna be a matter of minutes as far as the installation and whatnot for this particular package. So I still definitely like it. I definitely prefer it over some of the other ones. You can see those errors have cleared up. Now that we have the new input system. And then the character here, this one's the NPC. We don't really need that one, but this particular character here has some scripting, I think, on here that is for the old. I don't think we need the I don't think we need this one anymore. But we do need to add this input system. Script as well. And also, I think we need this player input script. We do have to select the input actions here. I think it should be working. Trying to troubleshoot why we have this concept here on the camera. I think that was it here. Now if we push play, should be back to good again. Let's see. Looks like it's working pretty good. Go ahead and dock this. We do it in full screen now. There is a lot of these buttons and whatnot here. I think most of that's just for testing. So if we wanted to see what dual swords look like, we can also do kind of attacks. You can see he's looking at that target here and he's watching it go up and down. Got some pretty cool concepts here. Holding shift makes him look at it all the time. That's how you could maybe target one particular enemy and make sure you're always facing it. We could actually do some other concepts here. You can even turn off the follow feature of the camera by just pushing F. That's pretty cool. We do have some more animations. There's a ton of this. Now we may use some of this stuff, we may not. But I think this particular package I think is going to work pretty well. Because like I said, it gives us a lot of flexibility. We're going to be able to do like medieval stuff in some of the dreams, and then we're also going to be able to do some of the shooting. You see here there is where's it at? There's a rifle here, which is nice. I want to say attack here gives you even the attack animation. Of course, we'll use like some particle effects or something on there to highlight that, but most of these animations are exactly what we're going to need, exactly what we're going to need. So having, this, for our entire game is going to be really handy. Once we get up to the bunker level, something like this rifle, and there's even pistols in too. We can do single pistol. You can do dual pistols. So not only can we do dual swords for our medieval levels, but we'll be able to do pistols for our more advanced levels. I think this is going to work out pretty good. Although I will say now, the next thing would be we want our character to now take over this. We don't want him to look like this. Now, I will say we haven't actually picked out a character yet. That was something that we kind of were talking about in some of the earlier streams. We weren't exactly sure, and I'm at the point where we may change it out many times. I do know we are going to play mostly as the kid. as the child of the story. Every once in a while, I would love to include the concept of you just kind of switching to the father for certain instances. I think a great example would be like you're in the dream machine and you're in a specific level, and next thing you know, it like some kind of alarm's going off, and you have to click like maybe a portrait of a father, and now all of a sudden you're teleported back into the bunker and you see yourself in the dream machine, and now you have to fix something in the bunker that's malfunctioning, maybe the dream machine itself. And I really like that kind of concept of being able to switch between characters. And maybe there's certain things that you do as a father, and certain things that you do as maybe there's more actions available in the actual bunker for the father. So, moving along, we do need the character part. We want to switch this up. So I'm gonna go ahead and go into the Polygon Kids pack that we got from the asset store. If you guys didn't see in some of the earlier streams, we definitely had a lot of Cinti asset stores that we installed day one. This was one of them. And I think this one really gives us kind of the flexibility to do anything we want with old kid-father concept. There are some prefabs, so we're going to look through there real quick. And I'm going to make this screen bigger just so you guys can kind of see. And I'd love to hear you guys' feedback. Post it in the chat, send it to Discord, however you guys want to do it. Kind of who you think would be the best for our main character. Now keep in mind we can adjust the colors. I could probably even pull this into something like Blender or 3ds Max if we don't want him to always have a smile. Things to that nature. But in general, these are going to be some of our options. I do think it should be kind of post-apocalyptic bunker looking. Although in the Dream Machine levels himself, if we want him to play a character, then I'm all for him being, like medieval looking. We have a medieval level and we want him to actually play as a child. I'm not saying we're always going to have him play as a child when he actually levels. Sometimes he may play as we're not limited in that regard, so it's pretty nice. I mean, he could literally play as an alien if we wanted in these Dream Machines. I think that's the great part of the Dream Machine. It just gives us all the flexibility in the world to do it however we want to do it. So I'm going to kind of glance through here, and I think we need to find a kid prefab that would work in kind of a post-apocalyptic scenario. I think a lot of these are just maybe too modern, too fantasy, this one. Maybe too normal. So we really need to find one that's going to be fitting for him in the actual bunker. Something like this actually wouldn't be too bad. I do think it's funny that he's a little chunkier. We never really talked about that. I mean, he is just sitting in a bunker all the time. So we could actually go with the chunkier kid. We could go with something very standard like this. Maybe I'll throw out some of our options. So you can see here, this could be option 1 here. I haven't really... Somebody brought it up to me that maybe you could actually select whether your character was female or male in the beginning of the story. I guess technically it wouldn't be too hard to do, and maybe some players would enjoy that. I think for now, until I get a lot of feedback from you guys, I don't think I'm going to include that option. I think for now it's just going to be the father instead. Still just going through all these options. As you can see, there's tons of them. Some of these are pretty funny. It would be funny to be walking around an apocalyptic scene dressed as a tiger or something. Here's another one that could potentially work. Call that option 2. That one's more like medieval themed here. I think this one looks just too casual, too modern. I think this is a female character, I'm assuming, just because of the skirt. And I want to say, if I look at this, the skirt is not, yeah. I was thinking maybe you could turn off the skirt, but it doesn't look like. At least I'm not seeing it here. But I was thinking if you could turn off the skirt, then maybe it wouldn't be. Maybe you'd just be wearing regular pants underneath. Then it wouldn't be too bad. Where were we? There you go. Can't remember his name, but from It, that would be pretty funny. And you can just see how many options we have here, which is a good thing. I mean, it's a little tedious getting through them all, but the more options we have, really, the better. We got kid skeletons. Awesome. Alright, here's another one. We got kid survival. That'd be option 3. We might have some more options with this kid survival that we didn't have with these other guys. Here's a armored version. Kind of cool. Another one. I think that might be everything. Werewolf. Zombie. That's awesome. So yeah, we pretty much only have like these 5 options here. Now, like I said, we can probably make adjustments to these as well. There may also be some different materials that we can provide. For example, if we look at option 3 here, you can see different color changes here. Also, we can change his hair color. Change his skin color. We have quite a few options here. Also, let's take a look at this guy here. Looks like we even have some freckles that we can add. A robot face. We can even change out his hair if we really wanted to. Show you that here. So if we type in hair and we do T prefab, you can see we have a lot of options here. Now, all you really have to do is find his head here, and then you would just drag in the hair there and disable his old hair. Now this one looks like it was designed for an adult, and it also looks like it was female hair. But I'm just showing you how simple it is to be able to do that. You can always resize it, reposition it, however we want to do. I'm gonna go ahead and check the polygon kids and see if they're. Here we go. We have all these attachments here. We have hair. So these are all specifically for the kids. We can give them like kind of a bowl cut, long hair. I would think that either two things. Either living in a bunker, you're gonna have really short hair. Just keep shaving it off all the time. Or you would have really long hair, suggesting that you haven't really been able to cut your hair in a long time. So take a look here. We probably even add a bunch of these. You can see pretty much how easy it's gonna be. Got like a hairband there. But yeah, the biggest issue is now going to be deciding, what we want, what we think is the overall look of this character. We don't really need to decide that now. That's something we can perfect as we go. And this is also something that I'll probably put into more of a vote concept. Get you guys more feedback. Or get feedback from you guys, actually, and kind of what you guys think, what we should do, which one's better. I think when I envision like the kid going out, it would be cool if we had a version of him in leisure clothes, so to speak, when he's in the bunker, and then a version of his like armor or whatnot when he leaves the bunker. That would be probably the coolest. Maybe he looks like this in the bunker, and he looks like this when he even loses the glasses. I'm going to take a look at this guy. I want to see if you can toggle his glasses. Is it weird? Like it's part of his actual here. That's not saying we couldn't go in and either add glasses to this guy or just remove this in like Blender or something like that. There's even, I didn't notice this, but there's even like baby. I think they're all, oh, there is a human baby. That would be interesting. I just want to look through the attachments again real quick. I wonder if there's definitely gonna want like these bag attachments. We may even make it so that you know, depending on if he's in this mode, he's in his armor mode, we definitely want him to have that. May also have like a small, medium, large bag depending on, you know, where you're at, what level you are at. But and right here we have glasses. I think for now, took this guy, just for fun. We said, hey, you guys are the inside versus outside. Now, we'll say the skin color is slightly different. Change that here. That's the same. I think we'll go with these two guys. Sorry if that took all these decisions, I guess, right? So what we're gonna do here is I'm going to take our actual RPG character here. Let me just go ahead and make a toolkit. I disable this one just in case we mess up and we back. Got this game. We'll be making this too, but we'll have that option. I am going to, let's see, we're gonna want to unpack this precap completely. And then I think we can take this guy here. We're gonna just move him under here. And I'm gonna reset his. Now you can see significantly smaller in this time. What do we want to do next? I think at this guy, he's got some. We have this IK hands. I'm gonna copy this script, apply it to here. I think we're gonna need this animator script here. We're gonna kind of want to just copy this exactly the same as the. So let's pick that character controller as well. look at some of the other stuff real quick. I think for now, what I'll do, remember we were talking about the size did versus this. I think for now, I'm going to go ahead and release him the same size. And the reason why I'm doing this is because we have all these weapons that we're going to be kind of putting into the hands of the kid. And I don't want to have to resize each individual weapon. I'm going to resize the kid for now, and then I'll shrink him down later. Now, of course, there might still be some weapons that maybe need to be, increased. Maybe the swords need to be bigger, whatnot. We'll figure that out. But I think for now, I think that's the best way to go. And let's see, what else? We're gonna have to assign some of these weapons. I know this gets really confusing and it's gonna be kind of hard to watch. But in general, the left arm, anything that's in the left arm of this stuff, we're gonna want to put in the left arm. I guess this is actually so all of this is going to basically drag the right hand of our new. I didn't notice it, but you guys even know. Take a look. The field here, so I think this left hand. Oh, that the shield itself goes into the left forearm. Go ahead and do that. I don't think we have a forearm here. I think it's technically. Then all of this from the left hand. And that's everything. Not everything that we have to do, but everything that we have to move over. So if you're just joining us, we're just setting up our character controller for the Dream Machine project. We finished some of the menu stuff and the UI stuff, but we want to be able to move around and actually play the game now. We're still a long way to actually having a working prototype, but I think once you have an actual character controller and you can move around and do around, swing and hit things, and actually do animations, I think that's when it really starts to feel like a video game. So I think, take a look at this. can see, and he's moving along with the character. He's doing some animations, not actually doing any walking, running. I think we have to, we may have to reset up some of these references here. You can see like this, for example. We have this perfect look at script, and you can see the head is going to be part of the actual RPG character, but we're going to eventually either turn this off or delete this altogether. We now want to reference our actual character. So go back into here. We had the actual head here. Now I want that to be for sure we don't want it to be right under the neck. And just drag that in. Now we have the actual self. And it'll be a little tedious, I apologize. We got the spine 2 and spine 1. Spine 2. It's always nice when they name exactly the same. We have just the actual spine. I think for us, pretty sure that over. Got that set up. Might be additional references that we might need to adjust. Also gonna look at the neck. Might change this to a -y. But we may have to adjust that. Might depend. I say the access -y. Take a look at this now. Oh, looking around, good. I'm gonna go ahead and disable this other one so we can see a little better. Right mouse is moving them around. This head looks good. Do have a problem with moving forward, actually having a actual animation there too. We're getting there, guys. We're getting there. And unfortunately, this is, character controllers are, man, they're a work of art. If you look at games like Assassin's Creed or something like that, I mean, the character controllers are so in depth. It's absolutely. Even just this one that we're working on right now. If we go over here to animator here, you can see we have a crap ton of parameters. We've got so much stuff going on. You have all these different layers, and if you know anything about Unity and character control, you know that this stuff's not easy to set up. We're gonna have to dive into this thing a lot because, like I said, we're gonna fine tune our character controller based on what level he's at. So, in some levels he's gonna be able to, some levels he's not. So, we may have to go through really complex stuff. You can see we even have concepts for falling and finding that. So that's all stuff that we're gonna have to set up. So this gets really, really in-depth. And to make it even crazier, you have all these different states. This is just the arm once you have weapons in your hand. There's now all this additional stuff. You just keep going and going and going. But that's why I really, really like this RPG controller. Like, it's nuts. Spent a lot of time working on it. Works really well once you get it all set up. Gives you a lot of flexibility to do a lot of stuff with it. So I think I know it's probably tedious to watch, but this working on your character controller, and you might have a team of guys character control almost the entire project. Not something a day. Let's see where else. Do we? I think we do need to identify our left hand here. Go here. Take left hand. I'm just kind of referencing each one and comparing the two. I also pulled up their documents online. They do have a bunch of tutorials. See if there's anything that I forgot. And once we get this done here, I need to get rid of it. I mean, not. Once we get this all figured out and set up, now we have words here. We're gonna want to fine tune these two. You can see, you know, we're gonna want to even go in and fine tune their placement too. That's actually fairly easy. Kind of play the enemy. Like, this one's stabbing them like right through the head. Pretty bad. Um, but yeah, we're gonna want to fine tune these positions. We're gonna want to make sure that we actually. But I want to see. Trying to figure out why he's not walking. Troubleshoot. If you look at the animator here, got this unarmed idle. When we move, it needs to trigger a new state. If you watch this one, I had this problem before. We turn off our character again. See, we're running around pretty good. He's not gonna have any weapons because we pulled them out. But just his overall actions way better. If you guys know what it is, go up by all means in the chat. But it might take a little while to troubleshoot this. Hopefully not. Anytime you're dealing with somebody else's script or somebody else's testing, you know, it does get a little bit more complicated. Hopefully set all these up correctly. The only one I didn't know was this hips and whatnot, and we may actually have to go through here, fine tune the board and parent axes. This gets really confusing. All of that looks good. And we set that up. Not sure at this point. I'm gonna go ahead and dive into pull up their video tutorial, actually. We'll take a look at that. Maybe there's something we forgot here. All right. Is
package, custom package, RPG character, mechanism, animation pack version 6.3. Okay, let's import everything.
all right, so yeah, we can
After
see
importing, you're going to see a bunch of warnings in the console. You can ignore those.
we did all
Also,
of
you're gonna
that. We
project
loaded
set.
presets, did the input system.
And add the new to the RPG input actions. To the RPG input actions.
I think we did
Player
that.
input script. And we set the input action
Did that.
to the RPG input actions. Next, we're going to load in the.
They're using the Cinti Fantasy.
Okay,
Pictures,
now
we
let's
have
copy
those
the
as well.
character. Load in one of the characters here. Hand script over to the new character. And change the controller to the RPG character animation controller. Okay, let's choose one of these characters to show. Choose the peasant.
Here he's just
And
turning
scale
off
this
some of
up
the
to
other
match.
options. We didn't have to do that.
Oh, like that. And then the next step will be to move all the weapons over. So we'll expand the
We definitely moved all the weapons over.
weapons. And now we can delete the old RPG character model. And let's run this and see what happens. Okay, we're getting a warning. This is for the perfect look at, so let's fix that.
Didn't notice any warnings. Take a look at that. Definitely not.
Okay, expand the look at bones.
Here's where he gets into those look at bones. We definitely are gonna need to fix those.
So now we'll add in the neck and the head.
We got
And the forward axis for the neck will be the inverse Y.
this is a little different. I wonder if we need to.
And then the
I
next
wonder if I should copy his
bare
correctly.
bone is also inverse Y. And for the head, got forward Z. And then the parent is.
Try that. Not only is his element 0, maybe we messed that up. His is the neck and ours is the head here. I'm gonna change that around. He's got, on his neck, he's got minus y-axis, minus y-axis, and And then on the head,
minus
changing it right now.
And then reset to default.
Looks like got z-axis minus y-axis.
So no more warnings. Now let's see how that looks.
That's not going to really change though why it's not
Okay, that's
showing
pretty good.
him running.
For the last step, we're going to check.
Not working too well here. It's just really funny watching him try to follow that thing. It's nuts. Huh. Lost here. I almost want to start over again. Not sure what's going on here. Yeah, it might be something that I might have to troubleshoot on my own. I mean, I'd hate to have you guys here watching me here and troubleshoot this all day, which happens, in the game dev world. Like, I've definitely spent a good amount of time. I call these brick walls. You hit them, and it just makes the project come to a complete end until you can figure them out. There's been projects I've worked on where I even had to hit up the developer of that asset, the assistant. He had a hard time figuring out what the problem was and why it wasn't working. But it does happen. As of right now, I don't like. You can see our character here is watching it up and down, which is fine. But when he gets all turned around like this, you can tell that some of those look at accesses are not working right. I am curious if I didn't mention it, but we go into the prefabs and the characters here. Curious, what they come with. Completely lost here. You could do turn this one off altogether. I'll turn this one back on. See this one, and he tries really hard to look at it, but he doesn't break his back. If I duplicate this again, try another one here. And instead of using a polygon kids, I'm going to use something else. Use this captain. I'll go ahead and increase him here. Wondering, see, they have this motion. Have this motion game object here, and this is their mesh. For us, this is our mesh. And this root would technically be our motion. We have the hips, or aka pelvis. Then you got the spines and the upper legs. In general, this looks just fine. You want to unpack this prefab though, like we did earlier. I'm not even worried about the weapons yet at this point. I want to get that animation working. See, we have the animator. Try this again. RPG. I think we need to apply that root motion. And we don't even need that IK hands yet either. I think all we really need is just that animation. Oh, I'm getting tired of this load input. Since I need to look at that. He's reminding me to do it. But look, he's already walking just fine. Man, mess up with. Gonna delete that. Close of LLC. And I think this is that warning. Delete. Of course, you're gonna show me it one more time before you get the. So the captain's walking around pretty good here. Let's try to take one of these kids again. Hopefully it's not a problem with the actual kid. I don't remember. This is kids to overall. I take him, put him a part of here as well. And we'll disable the captains. Now this is supposed to work. And it does. Oh my gosh. I don't know what. Mess something up. I don't know how to turn around. Look. But it's working. Oh, but it's working now. So I'm gonna delete that other one. Somewhere in doing this. Hopefully we left hand reference. Probably even just test this after I do it each time so I know exactly where I might have messed up at. Still working here. Go ahead and drag over the weapons. I think that should not break any. This all goes into left hand. Shield went into forearm. Or in our case, the good. All of these right hand. Ugh. Excuse me. All these go into the right hand. Ah, good. Go ahead and push play again. Working fine still. Of course, if we try to pull out... Oh, actually... not bad. I was gonna say that we might need to fix some of it. Already working pretty good. Rifle. Look at that. Have to really... I think this is supposed to be a reload animation. Don't have to be perfect at this point, but... Alright, so all the weapons have been moved. Now, part that I hate doing. Work on that. This perfect look. I'll have to be extra careful not to mess this up. And I think for now, I'm going to even leave the way they are. So the first one... that over. Neck. one. Fine. Grass wood. Actually, no. Mess this up. Fine. Oh, so actually, fine one, fine tune is fine one, fine three is fine two. That's probably where we messed up. Why our guy was being folded in half. Alright, let's look at this. Definitely with animations, anytime you try to do any kind of animation, do some pretty messed up stuff, especially when you start looking at using like ragdoll concept. This is pretty funny. Totally normal. But at least we're still running around. We're still moving. So I think, if I go back to his reference, he was changing all of these axes. This for the looks like for the neck, but minus y. It doesn't really say, where he's getting this information from. I'm assuming it has something to do with, this transform. Comes minus y. Well. And hopefully this makes it so we don't break our back. Good there. Oh my God. He's trying really hard to look at that, though. I mean, sometimes that's the best way to do it. That is fun. Yeah, at this point, I would even trying to figure out what these are doing. When he does it in the tutorial, like, it just magically works really well. Of course, I mean that's how all tutorials do, and that's one of the reasons why we're doing this live stream, is because things don't always work out good, and you got a lot of troubleshooting to do. And so there's a lot of stuff that get edited out or never show up in the tutorial. But when you're live streaming, everything shows. Murphy's Law loves to show her little face whenever you're live streaming.
And for the head, got forward Z.
He does say
For the head,
he's looking at the head. Like on our RPG character here, or no, here, we have the head. See, he's looking forward in the Z direction. Then that magically applies to this head. He's forward is the Z axis. Alright. Parent
got forward Z. And then the parent is minus Y.
parent head should then be neck, which looks like it's looking minus Y. Okay. Minus Y. So yeah, I mean that part looks like it's set up right, according to what he's doing. And then if we look at the neck, neck is looking minus Y, and then the parent. See that spine is also looking. Sure that you have to set that up though. We had minus Y. I don't know if maybe we gotta set these up. I don't think he ever touches those other ones.
Set to default.
It also doesn't have all these other elements. Curious, do we actually need these elements? Try deleting them. Funny if we get the entire time. I don't think he ever actually says we needed to delete. Oh, look at that. I want to say that's actually going to work. And the reason being is because if we do have this look at concept, I think I'm only going to do it if you're holding shift. So you're going to select a target and then hold shift to stay looking at him. That's what I'm doing right here. And I think that's actually working. That looks natural. If I let go of shift, he does still try to look at him and maybe trying to look through his belly button or something. I'm not sure. But maybe because we removed the those other players, he's not gonna try controls it. You know, he's not gonna turn his back, or he's not gonna turn his, you know, his torso, you know, to try to look at it. So like right here, he's trying his best to. But okay, that'll work for now. And then I think the very last step, at least that he does, is kind of fine tuning the positions of the weapons itself. Oh, I guess we never did set up the hands, I think. We did. Actually, and delete. Or we can leave it off. I'm gonna go ahead and delete this other PG character. We don't need them. What we're gonna want to do, and this is a little tedious too, but just warning. I'm gonna go ahead and dock this over here. Case. What you're gonna want to do here is cycle through the weapons. You can see at least in our game view, we do dual swords. Pause. We go back into the scene view. Some of these, and I'm going to slow down my move. Some of these weapons just you would move this have to be perfect because we are dealing with low poly. See how his thumb not an ideal. The question is, like, if we're playing this a distance, does it look like he's? I think both of those even with the, I don't even think the adjustments I made. So you'd go through all of the weapons, if there's any that really need changes. You can see all the really cool animations that have him like pulling out his shield, pulling out his spear, putting them away. All of this stuff is except our look at it. This is just a really good pack, I'm telling you. Got everything. Got a lot of stuff. And yeah, we had to do a little bit of troubleshooting, but I couldn't even really tell you what we did. Now, the next step, I think this is going to work. Next step can be really difficult here. So we'll go ahead and just this guy here. Rename this our main character. I'm gonna create a new folder here, and we're just gonna call it prefabs. I'm gonna want to be able to just drag this to our. Now, there's other ways to do this, but for now, I think this is how I'm gonna. Also, we're gonna go into our scenes. Let's pull open our bunker. We're gonna add that scene additive here. See how massive our character is. That's fine. Then we're going to just go ahead and then take a look at kind of this environment that we were able to walk around and do stuff. You'll notice not only is certain things marked static, but you can also see that they're on this layer called walkable. We're going to want to set up our bunker here, that concept. Watch back in the first few days of streaming, we tried really hard to want to create game objects that were divided by static dynamic. Also, you can add our floors completely separate. I know these two scenes are on top of each other, so it gets a little confusing. But for the most part, our floors need to now be walkable. And I'm just going to go ahead and after we go back and we look at this now, we look at a couple other concepts. Had this crate here. This isn't walkable. It's not tagged. Had just a regular rigid body. Good to know. With this platform, he was able to jump on it, so had that walkable there. I don't think we're gonna have to deal with any swimming. Not even about that. I want to say that's it. There is this BSP3 script. Not sure what he was doing here. I want to say this has something to do with the fact that he's using a. Hopefully that doesn't turn into an issue. But like for example, this one has box collider and it's walkable, and we were able to jump on that. We may have to do ladders at some point, but I'm gonna just remember that this is here and come back and take. Here's another example. So there's a rock, mesh collider, and that BSP script on. I think anytime you have a mesh collider and you want the player to be able to walk on it, this is probably a. I might have to take a look at this and dissect this because I'm not sure if we're going to want to use that concept. For example, in an apocalyptic environment, if the character's walking around, a lot of that stuff might actually be mesh colliders. I don't know about having to apply this script on every single object in the game. That might seriously have some effects on our performance. So for now, I think all we needed was change our walkable layer. I'm going to go ahead and move our character this scene. Oh yeah, that was. Go ahead and unload this scene. Give it. Drag him. It's definitely a little big. And we had kind of a character over here that we had in here, him as a reference. Drink him. And so cases like this, I mean, he's got really tall hair, but look at either the arms or the eyes. That looks good. Then other characters. I think I'm just gonna move out of the way. Still need to find a father character. This was the one I dragged in as a reference. He looks pretty badass. When it comes to fathers, I don't think that's the route that we're gonna go. We want him to and older as well. And I'm gonna drag this guy somewhere. That is fine. Do have box colliders, so they don't have that mesh concept issue that we had before. But one thing we didn't think about was this camera. So we are gonna want to move this camera over. We also have this nav arrow. I think that was definitely separate from the target. That was what was bouncing up and down. But I want to say the nav and I think that happens when we're doing some. We have auto-generate lighting, so it was trying to fake our lighting. Don't need it. Ah, man. Alright. So I think what this nav is I think we could set it up where you can right click on a scene and the character would then move to that location. As of right now, that is not the plan. You're actually move them around like with the WASD key. Of course, we could go to the click and move concept. If we ever wanted to, there are a lot of RPGs, especially top down or third person. Not necessarily third person, but top down, but there are a lot of concepts out there like that concepts are still enjoyable, but I think with the combat system that we're probably going to want to do more of the hack and slash style. I think regular thing. We are going to want this camera. I don't want any of this roll stuff, but I'm going to go ahead and copy this over. Means we don't need our main camera. The camera target, I must have a reference for it anyway. I think That's all we need again from this scene. So I'm getting the sniffles here. Sorry about that. So let's push play and see what this potentially looks like. I have a feeling it's not going to look good. And the reason why I say that is because one, we have this ceiling. Yep, see? So we're going to want to disable that. Go ahead and automatically went into the plasma. So, this is always kind of difficult at first, but our scene isn't all the way set up for having a character controller yet. I was hoping just to be able to walk on the pathway here, but we don't have. Excuse me. We don't have camera brutally set up to work the way that we want. I will say that's probably the one thing that's lacking with this pack. It might be the actual This was just referencing the target itself. Too worried about that. So this reference. So we don't need target look at here. The GUI controls. What I'll do, I'll go ahead and just copy it. And so if you copy it, it'll keep its right. Now you can see as the target. Have I have to set up camera target here. Now I'll just put this. And then we are going to have to delete it. We're going to size him again. And the reason why I moved him over here. Alright, let's try this again. Okay. I am able to move around. When that target look at stuff, which camera is up. Fine. Yes. disable this target altogether. We also did have a warning there. And he's still trying to look at that. We also have some character or camera controller settings here that we're gonna have to get into. I mean, creating the camera controller too. Huge part of the project. Good camera controller is just essential. Play a game and your camera's just doing all this crazy stuff, especially with the third-person game. Like, you're gonna quit that game. So you gotta make sure that is really good. Camera and with the character controller are two huge things. I wouldn't be surprised if we're gonna have to dedicate a day or two to ensure that both of these are exactly the, or at least close to, and then we can fine tune. See, we can adjust this stuff live, but it's trying to do its best. Follow that character. But I might end up just creating our own. Because we're gonna, especially being in our bunker, we're gonna want this camera pretty tight. Getting tired of this and look at concept of the game. It's gonna be a very small detail that we're not gonna need for a while, so I'm probably just gonna turn this thing off for now. So. You can see we're move around now. We're not falling through, but you can see we can run through in any object. Of course, we'll have to check the colliders on all this to make this a playable phone. Is going to also, without a camera, behind me, I have no true reference on what WAS and D. Right now, to just move forward right here, I'm actually I have to fine tune that. Believe it or not, the camera actually kind of dictates that. So as you rotate the camera, your forward position is always going to move forward the way that the character is facing is always the. Get a little confused. We are getting. Okay, I talked about this earlier. So now we switched over to the input system, the new input system. But if you remember right, we had a couple buttons or keys already set up. We old system at that point. So one of the cool parts about Unity, if we go into project settings, I want to say it's under other settings. You can see right here, active input handling. It says the in general, we would want to use that, but you can also select. I think is a really nice feature. I hope they get rid of this. Have to read it now, but that'll make it so the old style in Playmaker that we were using earlier just pushing escape, clicking on a button, mouse, all that stuff is still gonna work. Reset that up to use the new inputs. I think that's actually pretty. Gotta let that reload here. Back, you can see most of our errors should have gone away. Go ahead and push play again. Now pushing escape pauses the game. Do that in my view here. But these buttons are being overlapped by all this other chaos, so it's not allowing us. Which means also that's something we should probably set up. I'll have to make a reminder of that. When we push escape, it does pause it, but maybe we should be able to just push escape. Pause it. Alright. So we have this character. We're essentially able to move him around. We want this camera. We want a camera. We want it on the player. It's gonna be general, kind of a fixed camera. I'm not sure, at least. I probably say this a lot, but because things change. But I don't know how much we want to give the player the ability to zoom out the camera at this. If we give them too much flexibility, I mean, you can see our ceiling isn't very high, and they zoom out. I'll have to have some additional logic in that scripting. Hey, camera, you're allowed to zoom out, but once you hit something with a collider, you're stuck there. And then we're gonna have to make sure that the camera doesn't clip through. Well, if we're aimed at the player from way back here because he zoomed it out so far, and then rolling over towards this wall, it now needs to know, hey, there's a wall, so it would have to zoom in really fast, come back around the wall, and then it'll zoom out to try to maintain it. That is, some games do that. Some games have that kind of concept into it. It works for them. Sometimes it can work really well. This stage in the game, I don't know if that. I almost kind of envision a game like Dead Space. If you've never played Dead Space, please. Amazing games, plural. But I want to say, and I know it's been a while since I played it, but I want to say their camera is more fixed. Kind of the player's left shoulder or right shoulder. I don't think really. I think ideally that's the way it's happening. So if we were to going to just create our own from go ahead and dock it. So let's say we have our main camera here. We then want to do the main camera. Become a child of as the character moves, it's moving with it. There's going to be some drawbacks. I'll tell you exactly what. So you can see head and align it with the view, and we'll push play. Now, I'm pushing W right now, and you can see he's kind of just rotating around. And pushing D also rotates. S does as well. But in order to truly move forward, I would have to kind of hold. Sorry if this makes people. But my way that the character controller is set up to probably. Taking for a very. And so that's why a lot of people have the camera floating, but then trying to follow. So we're gonna go over to our trusty ChatGPT here. And I'm already logged in over here. I'm gonna say create a indie C# script that attaches camera, follows the player around a simulating third person. I'm gonna just leave it like that for now and see what it comes up with. I'll switch back to the ready here, and I'm gonna go ahead and go into scripts folder. I'm gonna create a new camera script. Sorry. It's gonna be called follow player. At least that's what ChatGPT picked. Now, that's something we may want to change later to some, like third-person camera, something to that extent. Now, since we're saying, hey, follow the player, ChatGPT, that, go ahead and copy the code, paste this in here, push save. Now we have our camera here. Red script. You can now see as the players transform here. We'll add that. Have this offset, but now we'll leave it. Play. What's cool about ChatGPT is it even gave a recommendation for our offset. Now I don't know if that's gonna work. Right, it says recommended 0 to 5. You can see it's actually not too bad. I think we would want it more this. And even that's probably not quite where we want. But you can see now, doing a better job than what we had before. Notice I can walk behind this wall and the camera are out. That's always an issue. But also notice, or it's maybe hard for you guys at this point. But so I'm pushing W now. I'm moving forward. Pushing F, moving forward. The camera doesn't move behind my back when I'm. Same thing with pushing A. This is pushing A. Or doesn't move. Pushing D, the camera doesn't. So we're gonna want to add a way for, depending on which direction the player is moving, we need the camera to kind of smoothly swing around and stay behind the back of the character. I'm gonna go ahead and switch back over to ChatGPT, and then I'm gonna say modify. And that it was called follow player script. So that the camera smoothly moves behind the player regardless of direction. And now it's updating. Back to Visual Studio. Copy this code here. Paste it in, save it. Let it compile. Telling ChatGPT, if you guys aren't using it, it's a game changer, absolute game changer. Creating these scripts from scratch, especially for somebody who's not very strong coding, could take hours, and we just did that in probably. So definitely. You can see now we do have a smoothing speed here. I think, if I remember right, the recommendation was like 5. I think we went with more like a -1. So let's take a look at this. Alright, so -1 was not too bad. More like -2 probably, but I'd like it to come down just zoom in a little. We may have to add more of a zoom concept there. But that's not what we're testing. We're testing this smoothly follow concept. Now, not doing quite what we. I'm gonna have to tell ChatGPT. I mean, it's kind of getting thinking about what I want it to do. I think it knows in general, but something's sense. But maybe we didn't do a very good job explaining it. That's probably the issue. I'm curious what happens if we turn up that smooth speed. Let's think about this for a second. We got our character here. When I'm moving in one direction, it's gonna move. I'm moving in the Z direction. Right? If I move in A, moving in a positive and negative X direction. Then S versus the positive, negative. We're gonna head back over at GPT, and I'm basically gonna say to modify this script again. Sometimes I'll put in a statement, you know, like, hey, that didn't work, or that's not what I wanted, something. So then a lot of times ChatGPT will revert back to this original script. But just to make sure, I'm going to say, modify the original follow player script so that the camera always facing direction player is. The camera will need to smoothly do so. Also add a concept. And I might even add a additional information here. So remember, if we were moving, you know, we're basically going to be moving in a positive X or positive negative. So I want to include that. By rotating behind player and either positive X. Alright, let's take a look at this. See, it got rid of that vector 3 offset, which was originally in the very first script. We may not need it anymore, but let's take a look. Play. Suppose I didn't look at the settings of this new script here, but we can figure that out. We definitely are much further out for our distance here. Right. This is more of a I'm almost also going to want to add like rotation. Let's say hypothetically that's what we go. Push W, we go this way. If I push S, it does change behind me. But the weird thing about it is now, I tried to explain this earlier, but it's just such a complex concept. If I push W, our camera's following us just. If I hold A, our guy rotates. Following us pretty good. The issue now is if I push S, what happens? he kind of turns around real fast, which is fine. Then to move forward, it now becomes the W key hit, because W is always forward character. So in general, like, almost don't ever need the S button. You're always going to be moving forward or rotating. Probably even rotate with the mouse here. If I hold right mouse button, let's move. But in general, that's kind of the way it works. Is you're always just kind of holding W or so we don't need this S button. What would be the need for it? Currently, we don't need it to change the direction of the player. If anything, we can use it kind of a back roll. You wouldn't need him to stop and go this way. You would turn your character. Doors are working great. But so we're probably going to want to shut down or turn off whatever S is. That's one thing. And we're going to want to add in, this is the shift. He's trying to look at something. I want to add in all these concepts that we're going to want to fine tune. We want to be able to hold control or push control and crouch. We're also going to want to shift for running and targeting. We're going to want to add, in general, while you're in the bunker, you're going to be also in a relaxed state. So we're going to probably change that speed animation. That might just be a little too fast for, maybe that's speed when we shift, but when we're just walking. We're also going to want to set up every single thing in to make sure we're not running through it, or that we can jump it across, or jump it, even maybe knock it over. We have certain things with rigid body, fighter. Of course, everything's a fighter. Having that rigid body, able to have things push around is great. Also, notice it right here, try to avoid. You don't want the camera to ever get stuck behind something. That's so two different things we're gonna have to add to the camera script. One, we're gonna need some type of check, like, can you see the play? Which is, pretty standard. And then another thing we want to adjust going back to ChatGPT, and add those. I'll say add concept follow player script. Or rotation. Also, the script have logic. Also, the script needs to. Not sure how I want to word this yet. We want the camera to, like I said, always know whether or not the player is in. Always know if the player is you, not camera needs to automatically there, and then back out. Complicated. And then zoom back out and more. We'll go with that for now. But you can see how complicated the camera controllers get. You know, almost just as complicated as like character animation. Now I'm sure there's some online that you guys can find, ones that you guys can just download or buy, purchase. I've gone through quite a few camera controllers, and I always feel like none of them really do exactly what I would like. This would actually be the first time, though, that I'm making a really good experience. One of the two. Okay. Just these settings. What it says. We do have now a minimum zoom distance and a maximum zoom distance. That decrease maximum do. Now, not sure if I need that. Just the height here. One here. Like this smooth speed tampering is on the same kind. Now moving around. Let's test out. Oof. Better. A huge fan of this. No, don't know if it quite understood what I wanted. For camera rotation. Look at the camera right now. You can see what I'd like it to do, can't do it because on there. Yeah, I'd like it to be more. I want to be able to adjust the self camera rotation. Not just use this. And I should have saved our settings for our parameters here. Try it again. So let's do min distance, max distance, min distance, 1, distance, right down. Right, I think we do. Here. Layer. Trying to get in. Definitely hard to. Oh. Very intense. Not sure what the difference is between rotation, speed versus something. Apologize again about this. Hold. Of though. There we go. That's fun. Right now is when our camera should trying hard to zoom in player. We don't want anybody to be that kind of view. Whether they're intentionally or even something like that. It doesn't appear that that it's actually player. Might just completely redo this camera. Not bad, but definitely not.